A shocking explosion rocked Iran after America declared that their aerial campaign against their mortal enemy was over, which greatly surprised Iranian officials. So now, a big question looms, not only over the leadership of Iran, but also over the whole world. Who is the mysterious enemy that attacked them after America declared that their assault was over? Aside from that, amid growing claims that Iran will do everything to have Trump killed, Trump has reportedly prepared the U.S. military with thousands of missiles that America will launch if Iran succeeds in assassinating him, in order to obliterate the entire country. And most of all, the son of Khamenei, who is now the Ayatollah, made a promise that he will avenge the killing of his father. Are these signs that the war is not yet over, but instead the situation in Iran is becoming even more complicated, especially since Israel is reportedly ready to attack again? That's what we'll discuss today, only here on Mr. Good Vibe Shorts. Yeah. At around 6:30 in the morning, Iran time on Thursday, the U.S. Central Command announced that the latest phase of America's operation had ended. According to their report, they hit approximately 90 targets in successive airstrikes. A few moments after that statement, an official from the U.S. Defense Department once again assured that there would be no new airstrikes to be carried out by America after the last operation. But almost at the same time as that statement, reports began to emerge from Iranian state media that loud explosions were once again heard in Bushehr, Abbas, Chabahar, Sistan and Baluchistan, as well as in other strategic locations in southern Iran. Within just a few minutes, the sky lit up again because of a new series of airstrikes that no country claimed responsibility for. The situation became even more mysterious because even Israel, which has carried out several operations against Iran in the past, remained silent. In most previous attacks, Israel quickly claimed responsibility, but this time, there was no official statement. The United States, on the other hand, firmly states that their operation is over. So if it's not the U.S. and not Israel, who has the capability to carry out such a large-scale bombing inside Iran itself? The tension is rising even more because the explosions happened while Iran was preparing for the funeral of its assassinated former supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. A day that was supposed to be dedicated to mourning and showing unity was suddenly overshadowed by a new wave of fear. Right now, military analysts are discussing three possibilities. It could be a secret operation by Israel. It could also involve one or more countries in the Gulf region that have previously been targets of Iranian missiles, or it could be a joint operation by America's allies who deliberately chose not to leave any trace. But up to this moment, there is still no solid evidence as to who is truly behind the bombings that once again rocked Iran. And while that question remains unanswered, the fear grows that the next explosion might not just be a secret operation, but the beginning of a new chapter of war in the Middle East. As the mystery deepens, suspicion also grows among many analysts that it may not only be America or Israel directly waging war against Iran. For the first time in many years, the possibility is being seriously discussed that one or more Arab countries in the Gulf region may be secretly conducting their own operations against Iran. But up to now, there has still been no official admission from anyone. This is not just mere speculation either. During the height of the conflict in recent months, there have already been several airstrikes in Iran that no one has claimed responsibility for. Later on, according to reports from officials, it was revealed that Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates also carried out limited airstrikes after Iran bombed their energy facilities. Because of this, many are now asking if they are just repeating the same strategy. They retaliate, but avoid admitting it to prevent a larger war from breaking out across the entire region. Although the Iranian government did not directly accuse anyone, a member of the Iranian parliament issued a strong warning against the UAE, accusing it of having a secret role in supporting America's campaign against them. According to experts, it is inevitable for the UAE to suspect Iran because of its capability to conduct airstrikes, thanks to its modern aircraft. But the UAE remains silent about this. The same goes for Saudi Arabia, which other Iranian officials also suspected of carrying out the bombing. There is also a reason why suspicion immediately fell on the Gulf Arab states, because during the height of the American operation, Iran immediately retaliated by launching new missiles and attacks in other parts of the Middle East. Among the targets were Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, and Qatar. Missile alert sirens blared in the four countries as residents hurriedly took shelter in bomb shelters. According to reports, one civilian was injured in Kuwait while their air defense systems were trying to shoot down incoming missiles during Iran's attack. It wasn't long before the president of the UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, immediately traveled to Kuwait to meet with the country's emir. At the same time, the leaders of the Gulf states also held talks. Meanwhile, coordination continues with Qatar and Pakistan, both of which serve as the main mediators in the negotiations between America and Iran. Although no details were released about their discussions, it is clear that there is a high level of concern throughout the region. Meanwhile, the situation was further heated by the statement of Ismail Qusari, a member of the Iranian parliament and former commander of the Revolutionary Guard. He directly accused the UAE of having a behind-the-scenes role in secret operations against Iran. He also warned that the UAE will pay for its alleged cooperation with Washington. However, Iran did not present any concrete evidence to support this accusation, while the UAE government has remained silent. This is the reason why the situation is becoming even more complicated. While the exchange of accusations continues, no country has yet taken responsibility for the airstrikes that once again rocked Iran. And with every hour that passes without a clear answer, fears grow stronger that more countries may be quietly drawn into the war, a scenario that could expand the conflict far beyond what the world expects. Despite this, another major news story has made the situation even more serious. U.S. President Donald Trump himself said that the ceasefire established under the Memorandum of Understanding signed last month is now over. In other words, there is no longer any existing temporary agreement preventing the resumption of fighting. But along with his tough statement was a surprising message. According to Trump, America is still open to continuing talks if Iran wants to pursue them. He also said that Tehran allegedly requested to continue the negotiations, and Washington agreed to hold new technical talks to try to find a solution to the crisis. This shows the unusual situation in the Middle East right now. On one hand, both sides are once again trading airstrikes. On the other hand, they are still looking for ways to avoid a war that could escalate further as they prepare for new talks. The Iranian delegation arrived in Oman, a country that has long served as the main mediator between Tehran and Washington. But while diplomats prepare for negotiations, a different scene can be seen inside Iran, where thousands of people gathered to pay their last respects to former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who died in an attack carried out by the United States. What was supposed to be a funeral, symbolizing mourning, turned into a stage for intense anger and calls for revenge. As supporters raised their flags, many repeatedly called for those responsible for the death of their leader to be held accountable. The message of the new Supreme Leader, Mustafa Khamenei, was even stronger in his official statement, as he vowed to avenge the blood of his father and all Iranians who died in the two wars against America and Israel. He said that those responsible will not escape accountability, and that the day will come when they will pay for what they have done. Such a statement further raises fears that this may not be the final stage of the conflict. Meanwhile, the Iranian Ministry of Health also released the latest death toll and injury count in the most recent confirmed airstrike by the United States. According to their report, 17 people died while 150 were injured after several cities and important targets inside Iran were hit. A dozen of the injured needed surgery, while more than 100 were rushed to hospitals. For Iran, this is clear proof that they continue to suffer despite peace talks. But what deepens the crisis even more is a question that remains unanswered to this day: whether the latest confirmed attack was carried out by America. And Washington clearly stated that they did not conduct any further operations after that. Who really carried out the new series of bombings while the most powerful leader of Iran was being buried? So until now, the real mastermind behind the explosions remains shrouded in mystery. A mystery that could determine whether peace will finally return or if a new chapter of war will erupt. Despite these events, tensions rose again after U.S. President Donald Trump issued one of his strongest warnings against Tehran. The reason for this was the emerging reports of new threats against his life following the calls heard at the funeral of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and the intelligence shared by Israel about an alleged new Iranian assassination plot against him. In a lengthy message on Truth Social, Trump said that if Iran decides to kill him, it will not be answered with just a limited attack. According to him, 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded, and thousands more are ready to be launched if necessary. He added that he has already given the necessary orders to the American military and that the U.S. military is ready to pulverize all areas of Iran if Tehran carries out any plan against him. This is a statement that immediately became the center of discussion around the world because it shows that Washington is prepared to respond with overwhelming force to even a single assassination attempt. But that's not the only step America has taken. Along with the threats, the U.S. Treasury Department also imposed new sanctions against financier Ali Ansari, whom Washington accuses of managing a vast financial network that allegedly benefits the new supreme leader, Mustafa Khamenei, and other high-ranking officials of the regime. According to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, they will continue to use all means to cut off Iranian leaders' access to the global financial system. Iran quickly responded, according to Foreign Minister Abbas Araki, saying the new sanctions are a blatant violation by America of the Memorandum of Understanding they agreed upon last month. He insisted that Iran is fulfilling its obligations and said that the real violator of the agreement is Washington. For Tehran, it will be difficult to have real negotiations if America continues to increase economic pressure while claiming it is still open to diplomacy. At this point, the situation became even more contradictory. On one hand, both America and Iran say they still want to find a peaceful solution. On the other hand, threats of total retaliation continue. Sanctions are rising, and no one has been identified as responsible for the mysterious bombings in Iran. While diplomats continue talks at the negotiating table, fighter jets, missiles, and intelligence operations are also moving behind the scenes. And as each side prepares for their next move, one question becomes even more important. Can diplomacy still be saved? Or is the Middle East just one wrong decision away from a wider war that no one may be able to control? Despite the serious threats, some diplomats still hope that a wider war can still be prevented. Meanwhile, mediators have continued their efforts to bring America and Iran closer together. According to some reports, some Iranian officials have privately admitted to their counterparts in Washington that a group of hardliners may have made a mistake in deciding to target commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, a move that only further fueled the latest news of attacks. Although this has not been officially confirmed by Iran, it shows that there are also differing views within the Iranian government itself on how to handle the escalating crisis. But while efforts to revive diplomacy are ongoing, American pressure continues to intensify. In addition to new sanctions, the United States military remains ready in case of another attack against their personnel, allies, and especially President Donald Trump himself. On the other hand, the new supreme leader of Iran, Mojtaba Khamenei, has also not backed down from his vow to avenge the death of his father and all Iranians who died in the two wars. This means that even though negotiations are taking place behind the scenes, the possibility of renewed conflict remains high at any moment. But with everything that has happened in recent days, There is still one question that remains unclear, and as each day passes without anyone admitting who was really behind the covert attack on Iran, the fear only deepens that there may be countries quietly participating in the war without informing the rest of the world. And that's the reason why the situation in the Middle East remains extremely dangerous. When it's unclear who's firing, the possibility of mistaken retaliation is higher. A single false accusation could open a new front in the war. A single wrong intelligence report could push a country to retaliate against the wrong enemy. And if that happens, it won't just be America and Iran that could get involved, but also Israel and some Arab countries that have long been caught in the middle of tensions in the region. For now, the whole world is focused on Oman, where diplomats are trying to save the remaining hope for peace. But at the same time, radars, satellites, and intelligence agencies are also monitoring Iran's airspace, waiting to see if there will be another explosion that once again no one will claim responsibility for. Until now, it remains a mystery who is behind the airstrikes that once again shook Iran. And if this mystery is not given a clear answer soon, the next explosion may not just be part of a secret operation, but the beginning of a war bigger than what the whole world expects. And as always, the poor citizens are once again affected, especially those struggling in different parts of the world, including the Philippines. If you like this video, share it with others and subscribe as well. Also, watch the videos on the right so you can spend even more of your time.